Hi, this is Mon Rasz and you are listening to my daily thoughts number 12. Today's reflections are about Ship 1. I reviewed again my last daily thoughts and still was not happy with its presentation. Yes, I fully stand behind what I said, but my conclusion had to be cut short because of YouTube's 10 minutes time limit. So today I'll use the next time slot and continue my conclusion in the form of a story, and then make another add-on to that in the next daily thoughts. Ship 1. Put yourself a few centuries back to a time when things in the old world weren't at best, and people tried to find escape by exploring the world for new places to start all over again. Let's not focus on why the situation was bad in Europe, but rather on the fact that people were able to do extraordinary things under certain circumstances. So, in their search for a place where men could be guaranteed their unalienable rights such as life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, they built a phenomenal ship. The word spread and a lot of people from all countries came aboard. Then one day, about 200 years or so ago, the ship left the harbor and sailed with full force forward towards the new world to be. Everyone on the ship was excited and gave his best to help make the ship bypass obstacles and go forward. The wind was strong and the ship kept on going, for a while. The organization on the ship was pretty straightforward. There were only a few boat rules in the beginning, and one of them said that the captain was to be elected by the people on board and that he was the one in charge to steer the boat in the desired direction. So over time that captain and his crew was replaced by another captain with a new crew. It worked out fairly good because with a new team, new ideas how to faster reach the new world could be implemented. From time to time that ship had to reach the shore for repair and supplies, and each time more and more people came aboard. So the ship had also to be modified to carry more people by building additional stories. But when it was on the open water again, it was sailing at good speed, although somewhat slower than before due to the extra weight. There was a lot of discussion on the ship about the right direction. People that were once united by the idea to find a place where they could live, be free and happy, started to split up in groups. Each group was led by their speakers, and these speakers asked the captain for audiences all the time. The captain gave in and started to listen to those speakers. He even agreed to add new rules to the existing ones to accommodate everyone. And so it went on. As more time passed by and more rules were added, the captain had to spend considerable time in managing all what was required by the very rules he and his predecessors had agreed to, and only little time was left over to think about the original goal, the right direction for the ship to reach the new world. People on board became impatient for several reasons. For once they began to realize that, despite all their efforts, the speed of the ship was very reduced compared to the beginning of the trip. And then they found out that the speakers they had elected didn't really speak for them, but rather for themselves. But that was not all that caused uneasiness. One of the main problems was that all the new rules that had been added in favor for the different speakers made it almost impossible to change anything. As a matter of fact, the whole situation became totally inflexible. The captain, although aware of his job to steer the ship in the best direction, was bound by all the different rules that had been added on top of the original and straightforward ones, and therefore couldn't give clear indications any more where to sail to. So the course of the ship was more influenced by the direction of the wind than the one of the rudder. The inevitable finally happened. The ship got stuck in an ocean gyre. No wind, no current was here to help. The captain and the people didn't know what to do. The speakers were unavailable for comment. During a long while of floating around without direction, the situation became worse. Not only did the trash around the huge ship pile up to incredible amounts, which made any forward movement increasingly difficult, everybody on board blamed everybody else for that situation. People started to remember the good old times when the air was filled with inspiration and hope, when there was a drive towards the better. How could we make it happen again? They pondered. A few brainstormed and proposed that the original rules that made the boat take the right direction initially should be put in force again, and that all the additional rules in favor of the many speakers should be made obsolete. This idea was like a spark that ignited a fire. An overwhelming amount of people voted for it. As a matter of fact, the idea of rejuvenation became so strong that they also voted that whatever new rules would be put in place in the future should become automatically obsolete after a short while, subject to a renewed verification process by the people, and so on. Basically everyone, except the old speakers, agreed to that procedure of constant self-verification based on the original rules, so that a stuck situation could never happen again. Although everybody was reunited and the old speakers had been left on a nearby island, the question remained unanswered how to get the stuck ship on track again. But it didn't take long for the people to figure out that they would not need to rely on wind from foreign shores to do that. So driven by the new spirit, they transformed the vessel into a steamship powered by the trash they were surrounded with, and promised to never let them depend on wind from foreign shores again. The newly elected captain followed the wish of the people to always uphold and maintain the original rules, and steered the now self-powered ship in the right direction to the new world. It remains to be seen what had happened to the speakers on the island. For today I thank you for your time. May the higher spirit help us evolve. Until the next daily thoughts, yours truly, Mon Rasz. And today's post-lectum is: here are a few situations to picture. The computer operating system DOS 25 years ago with maybe 100 system files, and Windows 7 now with, let's say, 100,000. Then a person living in a student dorm, owning maybe 500 items and having a lot of time, and a retired person with 50,000 items of belongings, having no time at all. Then the US Constitution on an estimated 20 pages, and the 10th of millions of pages of laws and judicial decisions. And finally, the Internet in the beginning and now. Systems tend to get more complicated over time, until they fail. Simple statistics can show you how the chance for error increases tremendously with complexity. The same statistics can also show how inflexible a complex system is in regards to change. It's funny and sad at the same time. Complex systems tend to own their users or creators. A new beginning is necessary, one would say, to do it right the next time. But the next time we always do it like before. We spend time building and developing the systems, but no necessary time is spent on the most important task: to get rid of old clutter, outdated stuff, things that don't apply anymore or are of no further use. The real task is to keep whatever system lean and flexible, and to never let the initial goal get out of sight. I wonder if it's just by accident that we have a built-in mechanism that makes us forget things over time.